just wanted to check in about my I am presence experience here today. And what I've come to the conclusion of is that it's so apparent that nothing else is important. Like, I would easily give up the very thing that I seem to want most in my egoic state, is I want, like, intimacy, partnership with another person romantically, and I would easily give that up for this permanent state of just complete wholeness, complete non-resistance, just peace, beauty. It's like this endless expansive joy, contentment, fundamental okayness, and it's clear, and it's just relieving. I would give it all up easily. I just want peace, you know? And when I'm in my egoic state, I think I know how to get that. And I think that that's through clinging to people and certain circumstances that I want, you know? It's so easy to give those up in this space because peace is already here. But it's difficult, it seems difficult in those other spaces where peace doesn't seem to be present because of the wanting. The wanting is so strong, and I'm so convinced in those moments that more is better. And it's not that I wouldn't want those things in this state. It's just that it doesn't matter if I get my way or I don't, because everything's okay. Is this not the only goal, you know? I mean, it's really incredible. It's like no illusion in this world can touch it. And you get tastes through illusion, which I think makes those illusions addictive. You know, like sex, for example. I think, like, in that, like, orgasmic moment, like, right after orgasm, you're like, oh, wow. There's, like, you're overcome with peace. Like, when you take a hit of meth, you know, it's like, oh, wow, you know? When you finally get your way, you know, or, like, you climb to the top of this mountain, you know, but that's all, like, transient states, and I guess this is transient, too. I mean, I hear that this is a permanent state, like, this is, I mean, it is all that is, it's just that I'm blocked sometimes, and wouldn't I be willing, completely willing, to experience whatever pain needs to be experienced for me to, like, have this as a permanent state? If I have to look at every single shadow that lives in this skeleton's closet, gladly. My God, I've already experienced pain and know what that feels like. And these states of consciousness, they come back more clearly, not more clearly, but more often than they used to. Like, these started last summer, and they would come, I don't know, it seemed like, I can't really put a number on it, but, like, they're definitely more frequent now. And sometimes I don't even realize I'm in the state until I'm like, damn, like, I haven't had, like, a big trigger in a while. And I'm feeling really good. And then I look around and I'm like, why is everything so beautiful? And then I'm like, oh, just fall into this silence for a bit. This emptiness. So it's not non-dual. I just, not completely. It's just the I am. Yeah. I don't know what triggered it today. I did do a death meditation, which was very interesting. It was, like, guided through my own death. That was really kind of a cool experience, but I wonder if that's what kind of triggered my experience. Also, beautiful days tend to trigger it. When I'm stress-free, triggers this to come back. I've been doing a lot of internal shadow work and looking at my triggers and doing some self-love work, too. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But, there's no place I'd rather be right now. feel like there's no necessity for like character development or to need to be better or whatever. Like, I'm okay as I am. Everything's okay as it is. And what a relief. I'd also like to add that, you know, I was under the impression that I was in the mind awakening state, the emptiness, which I think is the glimpse. I think these are the glimpses that I'm getting. But I hear people talk about unity consciousness and it being a non-dual state, but I think I have tastes of it in this, just because, like, I can, like, fall in love with a tree. Like, I can look at a cloud and it makes me happier than I've been in a month. Like, I like, in this state of consciousness, I can look at people and just, like, feel unconditioned love for them. But I still feel like a person. I still feel like a character, you know? And though things just don't stick as much, and though it doesn't feel as personal, it's not a non-dual state. It's just an expanded, aware state, like a emptier, more intimate, more beautiful way of being. I could literally do nothing for the rest of my life, you know? I don't know if that's true, but like it feels like that in this state, and like I could be content, and I freaking love that, dude. You know, it's like paradoxical because I feel like we work so fucking, at least for me, I work so damn hard for my awakening. I mean, I'm like doing digging work and purging and crying and, you know, having to learn how to do the opposite of what I want to do a lot of times and face fears that I'd rather hide from, and love parts of me that never wanted to be seen. Working my ass off to not have to do anything. It's just the freedom of not attaching, and I lost my train of thought with that other piece, but when suffering is nearby, which it has been in my journey, this feels like heaven. Oh, I was talking about the paradox of like how you work so hard to get somewhere where you don't have to work again at all. Like it doesn't, you know, like get to a state where you don't feel like it's necessary to do anything because you're already whole. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. They're my favorite tree. And feeling the awareness of everything. So of course I like to diary when I'm in this space. And what triggered it today, interestingly enough, so first of all, it's a cloudy day. Usually my 5D feels more triggered when it's sunny. I've been like emotionless all day, which has been really nice. I mean, there's been some like peace and joy or whatever, but like I haven't had any like lower vibrational energies coming up, which is really interesting. But I started this 30-day challenge with Ajishante, and he just does this little like 7-minute like inquiry as you walk around. And as I'm walking around, it was like he explained things in such a perfect way. It just sort of threw me into that sort of conscious space. And he explained it in like, I don't even know if I can use the right words, but like just like relaxing and like noticing that awareness is prior to everything else. And I don't know, like when I'm intentional, like pop right in, especially when I'm stress-free. And it's just like things are so clear, and like what's really beautiful about it, it's like desires are not so strong, you know? I get really, like yesterday, I was fucking like in my seeking energy, like longing for something different. And I just allowed it. I like sat with it and just like nurtured, like I just sat, welcomed it. And I haven't been as distracted because I've put some limitations on my phone. And it was like, I don't know if giving it that space. I mean, I was like in a painful place yesterday. Like, fuck, man, if things ever gonna change for me. But like in this space, things don't need to change. Like there is beauty everywhere. Like awareness is whole. It is like expanded, you know? And it's not like, man, I'm enlightened. It doesn't feel like that. Like the way Adyashanti explains it is like the mind awakening. You know, I realized that since I started experiencing this state of consciousness, I can't fully believe any painful thought anymore. Like I can get in a painful place, but there's this looseness about those, the solidification of those beliefs. Like it's just like, yeah, I know that's just a thought, and I know that me identifying with that is what's causing me suffering, and I know that I'm not completely that. And so I think I'm just, you know, contracting and expanding in this sort of deconditioning process. And it just feels really good when I'm not in the contracted space. This really motivates me. It really motivates me to like keep going. You know, I know glimpses on the path are very, very common. And I've had them for about 1.5 years now, almost. And, well, I mean, I've had them prior to, but like they're very consistent now. And I can't know exactly what gets me there and what gets me out, but I'm sort of surrendering in the grace a bit of being more awake when the deeper conscious intelligence of the universe feels like it makes the most sense. But it's beautiful. It's so fucking beautiful. It's beautiful when things aren't so personal, strangely enough, because it feels like there's beauty in like the mine, and you know, like the he loves me or she loves me and I love her, and there's like this is my new car, but it's not this looseness of this non-attached, like not personal expansiveness, this open-heartedness. It's like so much more juicy. It feels somehow, in the paradox, there's like this openness which also feels more close, because like the expanded awareness, I don't know if I can really intellectually explain it, and I don't know that I need to, but it's like, whew, I just had this really interesting like experience in my body as I'm trying to explain this. It's like in expansion, like there, how can I be so aware of all this? There's like thousands and thousands of leaves, but in this still space, I'm aware of it all. It's like, who's aware of it all? Like, obviously I'm not just this. There's something else that is, there's more sensing. I don't know if I can explain this well. It's all being sensed at once, and I don't think the human brain is capable of that. I don't even think, like, there's awareness. There's something that's aware, that not just going through this filter. And I can feel that. It feels like more expanded than the very filter of the small self. And I don't know why that's more peaceful. I think part of it is like through this filter, there's this sense of judgment on things, like, oh, I see that, I like it, there's preference, there's when it's not personal, it's like there's no judgment, you just see things more as they are, and there's so much more that you see. It's like brighter, it's like lighter without a filter, right? It's like more clear without a filter, right? I'm not saying that the filter doesn't exist, because I don't really know, but it feels like there's less of it. And there's also like this hollowness, what feels like the hollowness inside the eyes, where the consciousness is coming from. That's sort of like empty. And Nice work, guys. Oh, hey. And small town. And it's like, there's no self in there. I know it's not like total no self, non-duality, like awakening, but I get the sense that no one's there, no one's home. And it feels good now. Also, I just want to point out in this consciousness that I haven't really seen desire so strong when I'm here. And I just feel desireless. And I think the Buddha said something about desire is suffering, like wanting, constantly wanting, seeking, needing something to be different. And in this state, it's like, what I want to make clear is I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to make them go away. I mean, I pray sometimes, but like, it's just like a grace bomb that comes and like says, you don't need anything else. Freedom's here. And I know I get like in the sticky small self consciousness, and desire is like so painful. It's like the yearn. I've never experienced it quite the way I do these days, like since I started waking up more. And because I don't know if it's more clear because I'm more clear. I don't know if it's the sensitivities or from removing blocks of other things, or if it's because I know what peace feels like, that now when I experience lower vibrational emotions that they're more intense. Maybe it's a combination of all of those things. But the yearn, man, lately has been so much. But when I'm in this space, it's like fucking freedom, dude. Fucking freedom. There's natural joy. There's fundamental well-being. And I know that I'm on the precipice of this being a state of consciousness that I get to experience on a more permanent basis. But again, with my point with making this little video, to remind myself that I don't think it's so much about doing new things, thinking differently about things, or like I don't think it's about effort. I think there's like this energetic internal intelligence that's ready when it's ready. And for me, that's so important to recall, because I get caught up in my masculine energy sometimes, like this doership and this needing to figure out things. And I've relied on that sense for a long time, and it's served me for a long time. So to step back and just allow isn't a natural way of being for me. But and I think there is small effort and intention and little things that can be helpful to some degree, but I don't think it's like as big of a factor as I'd like to imagine it is. I like to think that I have more control than I really do. Maybe this awake momentum is just happening exactly on time without whether I was doing something or something else. Like, I'm reading a book where this lady wakes up totally randomly. Like, she gets knocked up and she's like living in a different country. Like, she's not like doing anything to try to wake up. She didn't even know what was happening. So when the readiness is there, or whatever, then the occurrence happens or something. I don't know. I haven't got it all figured out yet. I'm just I like to talk about it, and I can't really talk about it with a lot of people, so I'll talk with myself about it via these little videos. And I like listening to them when I'm contracted, when I'm in the body mind and I'm identified with the small self, when I feel a little hopeless, because there's no hopelessness here. Like literally, like almost anything could be happening and occurring in my day-to-day, and it would feel like, oh, that's not really a big deal. Like, or I don't know that that's true, but like it would just be more okay. It would just be way more okay. Yeah. So that's all. Yeah, this 30-day challenge is really potent for popping me into this experience of nothingness. I can't even keep up with the videos because it's almost like a continuous thing, and I'm able to tap into it when it's way more obvious when I'm alone, when I'm in nature, when I'm at peace. But I've been practicing this weekend, like bringing the spacious awareness into my stressful moments, and though it's tough to recognize, it's still in the background, which makes me think that, you know, the mind awakening is here. It's just that there's some deconditioning needing to happen for me to recognize that the permanent state already exists. It's so clear that it's not something to achieve. It's not something that you work for. It's like an undoing and undoing. It's always been here. You know, awareness has always been here. The way I think about it, like our cells have regenerated our bodies, like completely, like every 7 years or something. So I'm not the body. And my thoughts, my opinions, like who I was when I was 16 and the way that I thought about the world is very different than the way I thought about the world when I was 3. The way I thought about the world when I was 3 is extremely different than the way I think about the world today. So my thoughts are not really my identity either. Like they come and go, they change, they shift. So my body, my mind, that's not it. There's something that's always been ever present. And it's like when I have memories from when I was a kid, who was there if it wasn't my body and it wasn't my mind? It's just the light of awareness. It's so empty. In this consciousness, it's also pretty obvious why a lot of people decide to live alone to me. Like when I'm in the egoic perspective and identified with the body mind, I want other people around. And I love people even in this state of consciousness. In fact, I love them more. But I also don't feel as connected, believe it or not. Like I feel more connected to the silence, which I can't see as well when I'm around other people. Sometimes I can, but it's more effort to let go of the character, because there's so much social conditioning. If I'm not interacting with other people, I can sort of like recognize the spaciousness in the room, or like the emptiness that connects us or something like that. But it's easy to fall out of when I start relating to other people, because it's like we don't generally relate in the emptiness. We're generally relating to thoughts, ideas, which isn't a bad thing. It's just not total reality. It's such a small sliver of what actually is. And I wouldn't, like, if I could just permanently be in this state, I don't need to live with anyone. Like there feels like no need. It's like, why wouldn't I want to just suck on freedom all day long, you know? But I do think there's an embodiment factor. I do think there's a reason I incarnated into this plane at this time. I think it involves connection with other people. But I think it's important to remember that, especially when I'm looking and seeking community and relationships, romantic relationships, that kind of thing, that when I'm here, it doesn't really matter. And so the level of importance that the ego puts on that is starting to loosen, I think, a bit, because, and I think the ego wants things to feel important. It wants form. It doesn't want the seeking to go away. The seeking keeps it alive. It keeps it motivated to stay in separation. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just its own survival. It's a neutral thing. But for me, it causes suffering, because the ego's agenda is seek and do not find. So I haven't found in that state of consciousness. I never have. I've gotten excited. I got my way. And then you're on to the next. But here it's like I have things going on in my life that I'm not egoically satisfied with. Very much so. And here, I don't give a fuck. What else could I possibly fucking need? And the ego is seeking anything but this very moment. Because if it knew the juiciness of what is, it knows that its demise. There's nothing else to be. You already are.